even when I started my business in general, it was all about educating, uplifting, empowering, and everything else. So the same concept is true for here. I mean, we wanted to bring the right group of people that were going to do the same, and with their products and with their personality, and with each other and everything else. So we've got very lucky. So
hello everybody, welcome to this episode of Unity Through Diversity. And this beautiful afternoon, we had some sunshine this morning, but I was so excited. And right now I'm in downtown Bay City, and the beautiful lady sitting next to me, and she is Amy Marie, right?
Yes.
And she is the owner of Believe Inspire Beauty Boutique.
Yep.
And you have 2 locations.
I do.
Right?
Yes.
So I think I'm just gonna turn the mic to you, have you to introduce yourself a little bit, then we're just gonna dive into this podcast. Okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, I'm Amy Marie. I have the 2 locations. One of them is in the Uptown area over by like Real Seafood, Vinny's Pizzeria, and all that over there. And then we have our location here at that address. There's 132. This one is 906 in Washington, right across from Herman and Hiss. This is a new location for us. 2 totally different concepts. My first store was, my baby, my store, and we built that with all of our families, like wood from barns and houses and everything else, and just made it our first studio out of that. And our second location, we brought in some amazing other business women with us too, and like I said, totally different concept.
Yes, I have so many questions for you here because I heard a lot of good things about your boutique. Actually, first time I met you was actually at the grand opening of Manoa.
Yeah,
upstairs.
Yep.
And I was somehow I just kind of remember your face, but I could not really, so many people, I could not really connect.
Yes.
And the second time when your second location opened here, actually this place, actually I collaborated with them before.
Yeah.
With Laura, and I was like, I know this space.
Yeah.
So when I saw that actually, Cody's macaron here and you here, I was like, oh, okay, finally put the images together. But how many years for your first one in Uptown? It's Uptown is very new, so.
Yep, yes. I was a year online first.
Okay.
I started it actually after I got out of my photography career, only because I used to do that with my photography. Our concept there was we would dress and style them, and then we would take their pictures.
Okay.
I guess the season in my life that changed. I was ready. I went back to school, and I kind of just got burned out of editing and kept the style part of that because I love that, and it was a great way to still keep my clients and my audience and everything else.
Yeah.
So I was 1 year online, and then in June, coming up June, would be 2 years there.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and you said that's you basically built that's your baby.
Yeah.
That's your first creation.
Yep.
And you guys opened actually a couple months ago for the second location.
Yes.
So how do you feel? It's like have your first child and a second child, and then like how do you feel when you have a second location? Or what made you feel like, oh, I'm ready for the second child?
Yeah, that's funny. I feel like no, that's a good question, and it almost is the same answer. Nobody is ready. You're just like it either oops it happened, which has kind of happened to us, or you plan it and you're just like, okay, timing is right. And I'm gonna say that was a little mixture of both of us for us. I had met Cody a while ago, and at a business function and all that stuff too, and we became friends fast because it was one of those things where you go through this in business, I go through this in business, and you just relate, and then we caught up with more business things, and more business. We kept seeing each other and stuff, and we had talked about one day if we ever had the opportunity to come downtown, would you think about collaborating? We both were yes, because it's such an expense to open a business in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
And it was one of those things where, a lot of the spaces down here are so big, it's going to be very expensive to fill this by yourself, along with you want another that. With us both having a second location, it was kind of those things where if we did that, we knew we wanted to go in together. So we really just kind of got the opportunity. We kind of been thinking about it, and then weirdly enough, I told my UPS guy, who I love and adore, and said, hey, if you ever see anything down there, that's going to become open, let us know, and everything else, because there was a spot that opened up, and it stayed open for maybe 3-4 weeks. It was enough time for me and Cody to be like, okay, do we really want to be serious about this and go the next step? And then before we could even say, yeah, I think we can make it happen, it was already full. So I was telling my UPS guy about that, and it was just faith or something, because the next day He said, I know a place. And we were like, we're just going to make this happen. So it was kind of like, great terminology of like, you're not really ready for the kid, but here it is. So, you're just going to make it happen. And that's kind of how we fell into this one, really.
We give a shout out to the UPS guy.
Yes, Kevin, thank you for that. I mean, listen, become friends with all of your delivery people because you never know what's going to happen. And a lot of them know more information than they probably should. I mean,
yes.
I mean, mine knows I like certain music because he's come in while I've done lives or coming when I'm doing social media stuff and I'm dancing. And he's like, I would have never pegged you for a rap person or a country person. I'm like, I listen to all of it. So be careful with your drivers. I mean, they literally, either going to help you out or tell you all your secrets. I'm not really sure which ones, but
I love that.
Yeah.
It's really kind of like, that's my way in the community. It's like sometimes you have no idea who they really are.
Yeah.
Depends on how they dress, how they talk. You never know one conversation you had with this person. Later, you're either going to change this person's life or this person going to change your life.
Yeah.
So just be kind with people and just treat everybody as human being, right? Be human. So thanks, Kevin.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And you never know when people say too that there's some people in your life for a long time. There's people in your life for a season, and you don't know why you meet
for
everybody.
A reason, right?
And you obviously meet everyone for a reason because who would have guessed that?
I think that's our first time meet is plant seed. Mm-hmm. Because if I don't see you there, I will not say, oh yeah, I think I know this lady, but where? And I was, oh okay. So like sometimes we plant seed. Yeah. And like you and Cody. You guys plant seed back and forth until one day was like, oh, actually we have all the resources. The soil is ready, lighting and sun and everything. I was like, yeah, let's go for it.
Definitely.
So thank you for reading on that. I was like, whoa, it's like first baby only 2 years, right? Now second baby is just drop right in. And when Laura told me she's moving out, I had no idea. And you guys put things together so fast because I can't even like everything is so totally different in this place because I've been here so many times. I was like, when I come here, oh wow, I cannot even picture, like I cannot even remember what it was look like before. So you guys are really on the move, super fast.
4 weeks. We
4
put
weeks
together in 4 weeks.
Talk about women power.
Yeah.
Okay? Now I'm gonna talk about some women in your life now, right? Do you have other people's, other small business ladies or their products or their goods in your in the other store or only this one?
Only this one, yeah.
Okay.
Only because it's a smaller one. I think this is double the space. Okay. And I wanted that, after I started doing like events, like I told you, we did the Women's Expo and everything else. I was like, man, there's so many women out there that run businesses, that you don't even know about or anything else, or just people in your community or people that do it at home, kind of like I started and everything else. And, and as you go on with your journey, you just meet more and more people. And I had brought a couple of people there off and on, or I try to do as many pop-ups as I can there. Yeah. We have a beautiful rooftop. We have the Galleria and stuff that, so I try to incorporate that, but like the space isn't always there unless it's like a smaller product. And like I said, that goes back to that thing too of maybe timing was right and everything else, because a year ago I might have not known all the people I've known to be able to fill this spot, this spot too. Yes. But yeah, so I've only had done like do pop-ups and special events and all that over there because the room really isn't there.
So how many I don't want to say vendors, but how many small business in this space right now we are sitting?
With me and Cody's, there's 13 women in here. Yeah.
See the number 13?
Yeah,
also,
number 13.
It obviously 12, but actually that's hidden number 13. So I think that you really hit on the point.
Yeah.
I love it. Now as the more we talk about this 22, 13, and I was like, oh, now I know. Universe is showing me is why I'm here. Yeah. So those 13, they all women?
Yep, all women.
Okay. You didn't really specifically choose women, did you? Or just coming?
We didn't. We didn't. As weird as that is. And I feel like, we're in a time now that I feel like it's, well, I shouldn't say that because, now we're getting better where anyone can open a business. But I feel like, years and years ago, it was just, there was less women that ran businesses. I mean, because they're running a household and they're doing the things and everything else. Or they're stay-at-home moms or whatever. It was, I'm not going to say it wasn't allowed, but it was just less or whatever else. So for us to come in here, like, again, I say it was almost meant to be to come in here with all women. We didn't plan it that way. It was just, I guess those are the people that you can relate to, like their story, their journey. And then of course, when I did like a women's expo, it was for women businesses. So I kept, the collabs of girls there and everything else like that. So I'm glad it happened that way. We wouldn't be against a guy product in here. I guess it just happened that we're in there. We love our little girl vibe, I guess, though, so.
Yeah, I just want to be clear. It's like, sometimes we do certain things and then later you realize, oh, wow, I didn't know that's it show you a trend or something, but without you intentionally, you know, that's why I say, hey, I don't want guys feels like, oh no, she just only pick women. It just happened naturally that way, and then you know, whoa, that's fun. Actually, it give you a, you know, stream of the, not say focus, but universe guiding you on the path, right? And I want to talk a little bit more about this business. Then we go back. I want to connect with the younger version of you. I feel like I want to know that version of Amy. But working with 12 other women. Right? I know Cody is always here. I mean, not always here. I think either I see you or Cody. Actually, I see another girl the other day. I forgot her name. But like, share us a little bit. Is like, how do you feel working with 12 other women, like sisterhood, like sisters?
It really is a great sisterhood. Second of all, it's man, there's so many perks to it. I mean, first of all, it's just, you know, we have a little Facebook group with all of us girls in there, and just a couple days ago, for example, I was like, I really want to do Valentine's Day here. Here's my thoughts, here's my ideas. Like, you know, I want to have like a sip and shop. I want to do this. What is everybody else's idea? So it's like you have 13 mindsets of, you know, like, here's my ideas, this and that, and everything else. Another great thing about that is, you know, my skill level of this subject is, you know, here, and somebody else's might be down here, and vice versa, and stuff like that. So it's really, you have the best of both worlds. You know, you can go in there and say, hey, I'm really having a hard time with TikTok. Who knows something about TikTok? And whoever knows tells you, you know. Along with our favorite part really is we have 13 audiences that I might not personally ever be able to reach, you know, and stuff. So anytime we have events or collabs or anything else like that, it's a whole group of different audience, along with, like I said, all of our education, all of our experiences. We had people that literally just started their business like when we opened, you know. So we have brand new businesses that we can help with, and we have people that have been doing this 10 years, you know. So
you have this dynamic of on the different stage of their life, but somehow you guys coming together, you know, for some reason, right? For a better of this vision and reason in this community, and use those talents and skill. But what are some challenges? Because, like, again, you know, working with group of people, and especially, you know, 3, 4 with 12 other and sisters. I'm not against the women, but sometimes, you know, that when we were young, you know, 20s, high school or later, it's like a lot of things going on with, because we're also very sensitive, emotional. Not bad, I'm a woman, so I just want just like, not, things could be really goes really well, but I also know there's some hard days. So
well, it's one of those things too. It's just anytime you work with someone's going to pull the weight sometimes, and someone doesn't, you know, type deal. But I mean, I feel like in general, they're all, you know, everyone's really good here. Along with, I'm really actually impressed with them that a lot of us have carried some of the same products that other people have, and they're very polite and well mannered about, like, what do you bring in so I don't step on your toes and everything else. But I mean, could it be a crap show? You know, if everybody's like, I don't care about you, I don't care about what you're selling, I'm caring about making money and everything else. So it is one of those things. So we made sure we kind of handpicked. We knew the right people were going to come in here, and not it was going to be community over competition, and not come in here blazing, you know, type of deal, like type of deal. So we were really picky about that, and same further, you know, anybody else that comes in here, because we're always up for adding more. That is going to be something we'll heavily be like, you know, you have to play nice, basically. You know, there's enough not playing nice everywhere else. You know, let's not have it here. Yeah,
I think the other day when I stopped by, we talked a little bit about this competition thing, right, in the community, and I love you say the community over the competition, because, you know, not just in this industry, in every industry, this industry, and also in other ones, like a lot of time we treat people as the competitor. First, that we are creating a community vibe, like everybody has a spot. There's so many people, there's so many resources here, instead of you're fighting my clients and your clients. And I think probably one of the not the secret, one of the things made you guys successful, you know, work so well, is you probably set intention, allow universe also bring the people who are focusing on work together. Also, like, knowing like each other is different, have this space to hold a space for each other, and want to win-win, not just win-win. You have 13, so it's not like everybody, you know, if you have this product, you know, maybe there's something else, you know, so you can complement each other, instead of like, I want all those, whatever style we call it. So have this awareness is like, okay, we can all put things together, but it's like we are part of this one instead of like I want all
the credit,
I want
all
it.
the money, all the things.
Right. So, but I think it's great that you hold a space, you created this platform for say 13 women, like including yourself. Is there any other you would say things you were proud of these 13 women besides you just touched on that made this co-creating the co-create, right, the space you co-created, that's really in a peace and harmony space instead of like try to step down like we talk about and jealous and then just being like super competitive.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I feel like even when I started my business in general, it was all about educating, uplifting, empowering, and everything else. So the same concept is true for here. I mean, we wanted to bring the right group of people that were going to do the same, and with their products and with their personality, and with each other and everything else. So we've got very lucky so far. That's definitely it. Yeah.
Well, we want to thank to this version of Amy. Now we're gonna go back to check our little version because I was really curious. Like before we hit the recording part, I mentioned something about like our passion when we were young, right? The thing I'm doing right now, guess what? My 5 years older version, she just had a feeling of that.
Yeah.
That's made her happy, not made her happy. I can looking back and think about things that made me feel really have the open heart loving. I'm doing that. That's what I'm doing. But she did not know what exactly would be in what kind of profession, right? How you serve people. But that's basically serve people, support people it's my passion. And I was like, I'm still doing that. But course of life is probably been shifted a little bit. So let's go back to this young Amy, right? Was she? If you use 3 words to describe her when she's 5-6 years old, what would you say?
Oh man, I actually think I was probably very shy.
Okay. Surprisingly.
Yeah, I really was pretty shy. I was the only child for a long time, so I just kind of I think that might be one of the reasons subconsciously I love hanging around with a bunch of women, because for the longest time I didn't have a sibling until I was like 11.
Okay.
So I mean, for a long time I was like the only child. I think I would always have, when I look back at it, I just had this conversation with my mom. I actually was born 3 months early and in a military base, because my parents were in the military.
Yes.
And I was like 3 pounds. Like they didn't think that I was going to survive. I literally, my mom didn't see me. I got flew to another hospital and stuff. I think so from day one, I think I've had the survival instinct, like the, I'm just going to push through this type of deal. So I think I had...
You're very independent. Ever since you were born, it's like, hey, if I don't take care of myself, if I don't fight, I'm not going to make it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that definitely, even as a child, even though I was shy, I did that too. And I... from the stories that I hear and all the stuff that I can tell, that I, even back when I was little, I had that compassion or whatever, compassion for, kids, older, younger generation, everything else. And I those are definitely 3 things I think, not the shy part, kind of grew that part, thank goodness. But the other part and everything else like that definitely has made me, who I am and stuff like that. I guess even in 1st grade, I didn't talk. Like I didn't need to talk apparently. And they wanted to hold me back from in school, and they're like, my mom was like, why? And she's like, because we think socially, she's not ready and everything else. And I remember them, I don't even know why I remember this, but I remember them asking me and everything else, and I was like, because I don't have anything to say yet. So they're like, yeah, she's smart, she knows what she's doing, she just doesn't feel like talking. But I say I make up for it in my adult life now, so it's fine.
So now you put yourself doing photographer, and I mean, you're still doing that. I see your content. I was like, whoa, she has something. And now it makes sense. It was like, oh, okay, of course. She's come from that background. Yeah. We're going to touch that part in a little bit. Okay, so you're this version, shy, right? Like when you're young, and then you're very compassionate, right? Things, and then very, like, independent.
Yeah.
Survival is good, but let's say, you know that you need to take care of yourself. Maybe build a skill of it's like, kind of like, how to say that, hold yourself up.
Yeah.
For a while, right? Yeah. But this become later when you become in your life, it actually benefits you on a certain level when we understand where the story comes from, right?
Yeah.
So from there, how later, because I try to bridge the gap, right? From that version of you, young Amy, give her a hug. Yeah. What's the version of you when you're in teenager, like 15, 16? Because I think that's the turning point, transition point for a lot of people. It could be flip.
Yeah.
You know, not say you flip on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they will have personality, they shift it because they realize that, oh wow, they have some more of a understanding, you know, who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say probably then I kind of got into sports and
What kind of sports?
I played basketball, softball, and some volleyball.
Okay.
So I think that's when I kind of got, you know, like competitive and driven and everything else. I got obviously a little less out of my shell and everything else the older you get, and definitely when you play any type of sports, you have that team bonding. You know, you have a group of people that
team.
you know are your people basically and everything else. I probably, this is so bad to say, but you know, I'm like 46 at this point, so I can't. I did good in school, but I mean, it wasn't, education isn't taught like it is now, where you like you strive to get all A's. You know, I think we all kind of just put our bare minimum. I'm just gonna pass school type of deal. So I mean, I was probably normally B student or whatever else like that, and just, you know, went on my way type of deal. By then I had siblings also, so I was one of 4 girls, the oldest of the 4 girls.
All the girls. Do you see it?
All the girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you have a group.
Yes, yeah. Then that's probably why I like clothes too, because you know everybody had to steal my clothes, wear my clothes, everything else. So you know, maybe that was a full circle or something right there too.
I think we are connecting dots. Like
Yeah.
little by, I think it's still missing 3 steps here. Somehow that's 3 steps here. So okay. So now, what? We see different version, right? That version, now you're 15, 16, you play sports. Very competitive, but also the group, right? Working with group, right? You know, okay, from there. And then how did you from there to, when did you start to dabbling into the beauty and clothing? Well, clothing part I can understand. If your sister steal clothes, you probably can think about what's that the way. But I think I'll let you to share the story about how you connected.
I think I started really kind of connecting all the things when I was 19. I ended up having my daughter very young. My mom had me very young. I had my daughter very young, and I was a 19-year-old mom. And I think at that age, especially being a mom, you're like, where's my place? Where do you go? Like, what do you do? Like, and obviously having a child at 19, it's full survival mode of like, you know, you work this job until something else comes better along and you do this. But I started photography probably in my mid-20s after just
start early.
Bouncing around to you know, this job, and then I'd get a raise and go to this job or whatever else like that. And I started at Sears Portrait Studio, actually. I got a job there, and I fell in love with the photography, and then did that for years, and then started doing it on the side and everything else. And that's kind of where my fashion sense kind of came in and everything else, because you know, we would help, you know, pose and, you know, kind of do like glamour shots way before, you know, way back in the day when those were that way. And then when I started doing it on the side, I started offering styling, and, you know, like...
Yeah, because you see so many.
Yes. You know, there's a difference between a mom and some kids coming in, and their clothes are neutral, and they're matching each other, and then this one coming in with stripes and rainbows and everything else, and then you're putting them together, and you're like, that's going on your wall, that's going to be a hot mess, you know, type of deal. So I think you learn that, like, a little bit of, that doesn't match that, and it's going to be very obnoxious in this picture. Which I think later on in life right now actually has done me a world of justice, because when people come in here and they're like, I am looking for something to go with family pictures, I'm like, I got you. Not only do I do the styling, but picture-wise and everything else and how it's going to look, I kind of have that skill too, which I feel like has made me a great stylist.
What a great skill, because now you think about it, make all sense. I hear something, but I always hear things. But the thing is, like, because you take pictures for people, so you know the color composition of those things, you know what matches what. So, and then it's great that actually you have the, you know, boutique store, you actually direct people, because if they tell you this, oh, I'm gonna have this full family picture, or I'm gonna have choose somebody for my girlfriend, she likes this, or whatsoever, you actually in your mind you already picture that, because you're a photographer. Skill that come online. And they actually probably, when you put the whole store together, you already see where it goes, what everything here. I feel like there's a flow here. You know, people now professionally, they don't know why you arrange things in a certain way, but people feel comfortable. Feel this vibe here is just energy flows. Right. So I think that's really a great
so that was great, you know, fabulous. And then I think you know, then with my daughter and stuff, that after getting to the photography and stuff, that, and then trying to do my own business and stuff, I remember at one time when I actually had got married, and then we ended up getting a divorce, to make a long story short on that.
Yeah.
And I was learning how to basically do my passion, but yet at the same time not go broke. And there was a time too that I literally was like really close from being homeless because, you know, I was like, behind on rent, and I
tell us a little bit of one specific moment, because I think that's a part actually that's more medicine there, because usually when we feel like you're gonna be, I'm gonna lose everything, that's a scary part. Usually people don't want to go there.
Yeah, it is. And I like to tell the story only because of this. Like, I feel like in your darkest moments, or your, you know, I call it your learning moments and stuff, that is a skill that no one will ever take away. And it's also teaches you a lot about yourself. But I do remember, like, I have to get X amount of money in a certain amount of time and everything else. And I remember taking my camera and going to a park, and I was like, I'm gonna photograph everyone I can for the next 4 days. And this was before social media, before Facebook, everything else like this. So, and I would say to them, you know, this is what I do, everything else. Is it okay if I take some pictures of your kids here and everything else? Here's my card. If you want to come see them, you can buy them at a really cheap rate and stuff. And I did that. And it really, within a short amount of time, I think I had like 200 sessions. Okay, that's a lot of editing, a lot of people. But first of all, I feel like, one, it taught me how to, like, I mean, way far away from my shy zone right there, just completely talking to strangers and all that stuff. So I learned to network real quick out of that, like, you know, type of deal. So 200
during that
during that
moment,
time. And I, you know, and I would take my daughter was with me. It was a great thing for her to come out, you know, play with other kids and stuff like that too. And I have a picture of her during that time. That's one of my favorite pictures, because I remember, she will never remember, like, going through that and like me mentally being like, I hate that you were in this moment, that, like, we're poor, we're in this
surviving.
we're in this survival mode. And to her, it was
best time.
Yes, it was the best time ever. Like, my mom had let me meet 200 different people, you know, type of deal and stuff. And she barely remembers it, but she will say, I remember we used to go to the park all the time. And I'm like,
you're like, thanks for reminding me that moment of my life.
Exactly. And I was like, dang, you're right, we did, but I'm glad you remembered it as a good thing, you know. And that's funny too. I mean, because that's sometimes just how life is, you know. Your worst moments is somebody else's best moments, and then when you look back at it, it wasn't a bad moment. It was just like it was just challenging. But then I end up making it from those 200 sessions enough money to basically pay for like 3 months rent. Like, I caught up, I was like 2 months behind or so like that. I caught up on that and then had like 3 months. And if there was ever a defining moment probably in my life, that was probably it. Because I was like, when I look back at it, I'm like, I learned to network. I learned what I had. You know, I learned to, like, if you really dig deep and you do the things and stuff like that, I learned that your worst moment is somebody else's best moment. And, you know, and then you just learn that it was just this small moment in life compared to all those other, you know, times and stuff. So, I mean, that was definitely like a business moment for me. And then I just said it. And then when I look back to it, some of the things that make me think, why did I choose this and everything else. One thing another story that sets me off too is I am lucky right now. I am one of 5 generations right now still. My grandma's 94 and she's still alive and everything else. And when I made my boutique and everything else, I said I wanted to be somewhere where all 5 of us, you know, my sisters, me and my mom, my grandma, my daughter, all could come in and find something. I wasn't, you know, like just catered to teens or just catering to 20-year-olds or to 40-year-olds. I wanted everybody to come in there and be able to rock that and, you know, have a family day and do the things. So that was one of my focus, along with, I do remember, and, you know, this has even happened not too long ago, right before I opened my boutique. My mom has not blessed me with this area, but she's got boobs, and I'm like, you could have shared those, but she a lot of times I wear 2X just because of her boobs, you know. And she's just like, she gets so sad when she goes into stores and they don't have anything that fit her. And I can't believe how many times since I've owned the boutique that I hear that story, that it's like people are bullied because, you know, they're a 2X or even an extra large and they can't fit into things, and like how disappointing it is to go to store to store to store and they don't get catered to.
Yeah.
So that was huge, but I do remember going to the store one time with my mom, and it must have been some type of special event or something, and she'd go from store to store. She couldn't find anything, and she just very upset, you know, like very upset, like, you know, I'm done shopping and everything else, and I'm just like, man, I mean, I remember being younger, like, I wish I could help her or whatever else. How can I help you find something? And, you know, now her and my grandma probably spend more money than they would like at the stores, you know. They come in and, like, even when I try to give them discounts, they go shop my other store and pay full price. And I'm like, you're family.
Well, they want to support you.
Yeah, they do. Yes. They do. And they're happy that I have that mission, along with, you know, they're just happy, you know, that I found something I love, and that in one way or another we're helping the community and helping people find style and helping people fit in and feel comfortable in their clothes, really.
So the size wise, I think through the story sharing, that especially second one, you give me actually like the personality, the unique about not just bunch clothing here, right? You know, the clothing store, obviously you see the clothing and accessory and, you know, shoes, whatever things there, but like the story you share about, you know, like you said, somebody's pain is somebody's blessing.
Yeah.
Like, I have small boots. Like, when you go to the place, I'm looking for like 0, 0.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of places, I just always go there because, and also not many choices because, like, my size here in the United States is like 0, 0. But when I'm back China, it's M.
Okay.
So sometimes like shoes too, you know, small feet. So I have my part of, you know, I wish my boots were bigger. Yeah. My mom didn't bless me with that.
Yeah, she blessed you either. I hear you.
Right, but on the other end, and then, you know, we have different body size, and then, you know, sometimes some stores are more tailored towards the small size of people. So then, you know, your size is a little bit bigger, and then you have hard time, especially the proportion of your body, right? Certain parts may be a little bit bigger, and you're like, oh my goodness. So I really, you know, thanks for touching on that for the people who are listening to, you know, you might can come here, for different needs, you're gonna find different clothing that fit you, and then 5 generations. What's a beautiful thing. It's not like, sometimes I take my girls shopping, they get bored because they're like, it's all, you know, your clothes, your shoes, and they're just starting wandering around. That's why I don't really take them to shopping if I really want to get something, because I cannot focus. But like you said, 5 generation, I see you have the clothes, you know, small, and then you have books, books there, and that clothing, and then different accessory, and also body beauty stuff here, and then also business here. So it's shows that your consideration of all of that.
And that's, I mean, it really has to be. It's one of those things too. And you touched on a great point. I mean, my daughter's the same way. She is 5'7", maybe 105 pounds, and so she's just tall, thin, and everything else. And I hear the same thing from people that wear small than people that wear 2X. I mean, sometimes if you're a medium, you can fit into a smaller. You can fit into a large. Or if you're a large, you can fit into an extra large. But I mean, if you're a small, you're a small, and if you're a 2X, you're a 2X. You know, so both people have that. And it's sad to me when I have to hear people say, you know, the bullying, like in school or, you know, out in the world and stuff, that it doesn't matter if you're a 2X or if you're a small, you're still there. People are just like, you know, like I remember them telling my daughter, you're just like a little lanky tree or something. I think they used to call her, or a green bean or something or whatever. Just, you know, inappropriate, you know, bullying type of deal and stuff like that. And I know my mom got bullied when she was younger because I mean, she had bigger boobs than some of the other girls and everything else. But I mean, that's the thing. That's why we try to teach too. It doesn't matter what size you are. Sadly, everyone's going to have, I wish I had bigger boobs. I wish I was taller. I wish I didn't have love handles, whatever, you know, type of deal. So we try really hard. And if we don't have that product, and we always are like, we will order it for you. Like if we're out of your size and stuff like that. Because of course there's some common sizes that sell more than others. For sure. Same thing with jeans. I sell jeans really well because we go from 0 to 24s usually. So that's a big range of that. Yeah. So how you manage this inventory? I mean, I don't really, but if I think about it, so for people tailored towards 0, 0, like small, actually that's one boutique in Asheville. Like her size probably will be, I would say from, let's say if 0, 0, right? Like maybe to 4, maximum to 6. She doesn't really have more than 6. Yeah. And that actually helped her to build a niche. But anyway, it's more of, and then she carries certain style.
But when you have the full range from 00 to 24, that's a whole different story.
It is. That's why we say a lot of times if we, I made the whole the jean bar here because it is hard to carry 0s to 24s on the time, and then sometimes the vendors, a lot of vendors too that we deal with are just getting smarter to that. They're just getting smarter that like it doesn't matter what size you are. If you're having a hard time finding jeans, you're having a hard time finding jeans. That's why I say we always can special order thing we have, because a lot of like our 7s or 8s or 9s, somewhere between our 7 and probably 10, 12s are probably our most popular size. So we're constantly getting those ones in there, and then there is sometimes, we'll carry like a 00 that we'll have for a while.
Let me know.
Yeah,
I will come for
I know,
those.
and that's what I'm just gonna say. We try to usually do that too. Like if you're a unique size like that, we're just like, hey, we got this shipment.
Put Gina on the order.
Yeah,
on the list.
We got some 00s. You got to come in and try these on and stuff. But we will special order for that too. And I don't, this is nothing against any other boutiques and all that, but I mean, because my mission is to cater to people to all sizes and stuff like that. We will special order stuff in for people. I think that, which makes us a little more unique too, because I want everyone to have 3-4 pair of jeans that they're like, I feel great in my jeans.
Okay. So now at this point, I want to try to not so summarize, but things pop in my mind, the unique part, but you can add on more, right? The first of all is like you have the items actually for different age group. Yep. Right? And different size. Yeah. And women owned is one add on. I don't want to put as unique, but it is a unique part they have. You are collectively working with like 13, 12 other women owned business in the area. I think it's probably really, really like rare in the area. Yeah. Is there any other things to add on? Okay, you also have the food. Yeah. That's probably other unique part, right? Yeah. Other boutique, I don't know whether they have food or drink things.
I mean, they might do sip and shops and stuff like that. But when me and Cody clad, we knew that that'd be a good fit. I mean, obviously, Tarbuck's.
It's not food. I mean, like her thing is not food. Yeah. If the food will be a little bit, I mean, still you can, but I think her macaron is so colorful, matches with clothing. I can even you take pictures, you put some macaron in front, it will be not feel awkward. But if you put a plate of salads on there, maybe you still can. But I'm just saying it will be totally different vibe, right? Right. The smell, but macaron itself is like so colorful, beautiful.
It's a little snack to walk around and like have have some coffee and a little macaron and like walk around and shop. Yeah. It's totally unique.
Yes. But what are other things you would add on? Say if you share with people besides the points I touched on, is there any other things that you would?
I'd probably just say, I mean, a lot of us have events and all that stuff too, but we try to have monthly events. That either are related to this, like coming up pretty soon, we're having a denim event that's basically helping you find your perfect jean and stuff like that, because a lot of people just don't know, like if you're short, what kind of jeans should I be wearing? They get one stuck in one style and that's it, and then all of that. So we try to get people a little bit out of their comfort zones and, like have sip and shops so they know that, and have events. And
actually, that's a great idea. I'm not mean to cut you off, but I was like, when you say that, I was like, whoa, that's actually, it's a really good way of actually, not say promoting, is like actually share with people color thing as well. Like a lot of time, like myself, when I go shopping, because I'm so comfortable with black, white, gray. Besides, now I add on more red, yellow kind of thing, but I'm still, because I'm so used to, I believe also for a lot of women, men, we don't really think about it too much anymore because you're so comfortable, you look good in a certain way. But it's like you really sometimes now, for me right now, it's like, oh, actually I want to try different color, but I kind of want like somebody be next to me, say, hey Gina, can you try this one with this one, see how you feel about it. But to me, I'm always like, okay, I know black, white, gray, red with black, gray, but I have limitation.
And you're not alone on that. So many women do. They're like, my wardrobe, I keep thinking I want to try pink, I want to try yellow, and 90% of my collection is still black. We all have our or the other thing too is, it is a huge concept that people are like, I wear black because it's slimming. I'm not saying that it's not slimming, but there is other things that are, black's not the only slimming color. I mean, wearing the appropriate size of something is slimming, or, like if...
Cuts, right?
If you're worried about your arms, then having a cardigan or, something over top of it, or if you're, this is the biggest part of your body and you are wearing like something that's cutting a little bit of that off, or a shirt that sways down there so you're hiding that part,
Okay.
I love getting people a little out of their comfort zone and stuff, and I love that. Some of my clients definitely say that too. They'll say, "Hey, I'm going to go to this event." And you push me out of my comfort zone or whatever else. So, I'm coming to see you. And I'm like, fabulous, I'm here. I'm here with coffee waiting for you.
I think that's another specialty or like very like unique thing. It's just because people doing the boutique style certain things, I feel like you have this deep knowledge and wisdom because of your background.
Oh, yeah.
Of, colors, style, and from photographer's point of view, when you take pictures, exactly this will be go good, right?
Yeah.
Like color tones, warm and cold, like this is a totally different territory of things.
Oh yeah.
I did a little bit, clothing when I started actually years ago when I kind of transitioned back from full-time mom to, kind of back to the society, reconnecting, and I started doing the like matching outfits with my girls because I have 2 girls.
Okay.
And they are like super cute when you're little, right? They're chubby, and I was like,
Dress them what you can.
what it's like. I have 2 models here. I have 2 beautiful mixed baby here, so I started with clothing. But then I was like, all the sizes, and oh my goodness, it's just so confusing because U.S. size and then with the size in Asia is different. Like the M here, to me, in China was probably XL, and then XL in China here is M. The same thing. So when the clothing come in, and I always needed to tell people, hey, just let you know. What is your M? What's your definition of M? Some M in how to say that, like if in H&M versus the M in other shop, they are different. So I was like, that got me actually kind of get frustrated. I was like, no, I cannot do that.
Yeah, the struggle is real with that one for a lot of people. I mean, I feel like that's a lot of times too, where there's going to always probably be something you're going to buy online, and I'm hearing less and less that people are buying online because of that struggle.
Yeah.
They're like, I can get a medium, 4 different mediums, and none of them fit the same and everything. So
yeah, they have to send it back, and I was like, okay, I deal with that. So to prevent people to send things back, I have to just like have extra communication with them. Like, tell me what do what's the size M to you? So I will make sure that's the M you means H&M versus with other clothing lines M. So that's actually put me off. That I was like, okay, all right, I did that, served my purpose, and I moved on something else. But let's back to a little bit. We talk about this like community, right? And let's talk about like your vision for 2023. Now, obviously, you have baby number 1, baby number 2. Those 2 babies actually serve in the different area of the city, right? And with 13 women and more of a connection because things you'll be in the photographing area for so long, right? And let's talk about how you see yourself or your 2 boutiques, your connection in the community, what you try to build in 2023 or your vision for this community. You're born and raised here, right?
No, I was actually born in Alabama. And,
Alabama.
Yep,
Okay.
and we moved here and stuff. But my family's from here and stuff.
Okay.
So our family's here and everything else.
Yes.
I would have to say that, so my lease is coming up down there, and we're on that, I'm on that, like, this is such a unique concept. Like, I might have the vision of, like, let's have this concept in a different city. Just because, one, it's so inspiring
Empowering.
and empowering and stuff that, along with, there's some people that we have in here that would probably never have a storefront or never have a home. I mean, how do you fill a 2,000 square foot place with just earrings or just soaps or whatever else? So it's like impossible, probably. Very expensive. Not impossible. It's extremely expensive and everything else. So I think I'm getting joy out of being another place for people that would never have a home, just as much as I am of all the other concepts, that I believe in and everything else. Along with, we have this beautiful place here in Bay City. So if I end up moving that somewhere in like somewhere else in the Tri-City or Detroit area or Traverse City, there's other people that we can, help business-wise with, along with help sizing and mentoring and finding your perfect sizing and stuff like that too. So I feel like that's gonna, I'm sitting here debating about, my lease comes up, what do you do with that or whatever else, and I keep saying, well, this one fell in the lap, so we'll see where, that road goes, but we'll still keep the same visions as to, 2023 is helping people find the right clothes, right sizing, tell them that they're not alone. There's so many women. I cannot believe how many women every day that come in and say, I've gained 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 50 pounds, 70 pounds, whatever it is through COVID, and just feel bad. And I have to tell everybody all the time these two sentences all the time. One of them is, you're not alone on that. Like everyone I know has gained weight, you know, and since then, or stress, COVID, all of the things that we went through, you're not alone in that. And we highly want to educate people that, like, sometimes you just want to know you're not alone. Like, wasn't abnormal for me to gain 5 pounds or 10 pounds or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too is in this sentence always just breaks my heart when I have everybody here say this. And there's so many people that will say it too. They're like, I'm too young to wear this. I think I'm too fat for this. I don't have enough boobs for this. My thighs are too big for this. Like, there's always just something. And I always tell everybody, fashion has no age and no size. Like, it really, I say that sentence so many times a week that sometimes I'll go home and I'm like, it honestly just breaks my heart that literally we are so, I guess, the worst critic of ourselves, which is, everybody knows that. Yeah. But on how much we really do it, you know, it's like we almost get dressed, put something on, and just look for a flaw instead of being like, wow, I'm rocking these pants today. Right. So I think
self-judgment.
Yes. So in
20, perfect.
Yep. So 2023, I have a huge goal of kind of really trying to fix that. And if that means inspiration talking, if that means more talking on Pinterest, you know, like Instagram, whatever it is, or in class house stuff of, this is your perfect fit for this, or whatever, that's going to hopefully be a huge part of that, because I really feel like a lot of time we have so much problems with bullying and stuff like that too. We're really trying to kind of get a bullying organization going on, but we have bullying because we have all of that other stuff too. When you're already doubting, you know, that I don't look good in this, and you try it anyways, and you're like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to wear this to school. And one person says something about something you're unsure of, you're already like, nope, never doing that again. So, I mean, I feel like, I mean, that's just something that's not going to change unless we as a community, we as women and everything else literally start talking nicer to ourselves and encouraging other. And I do have to say, for the first time in a long time, I do feel like women are doing a great job of complete strangers. Hey, your hair looks cute today. I like your shoes. Yes, I like your shoes on there. But imagine if that wasn't even just some of us. If it was all of our second nature to give a compliment a day, I mean, where we would be. So that's kind of where we're going with that. Like you know, I always feel like a lot of times, you know, I'm just a clothing boutique. I just do this. I just offer clothes. People feel like you just come in, it's just this. But I mean, to us and the stories that we hear all the time, like it's really become a huge mission to me that it's not about that. It's more about the confidence and everything else too.
Thank you for touching on that. And literally you answered the question that I didn't even ask you yet, because my next question was actually, I would say, hey, can you touch on a little bit about what clothing does mean to you? Because there are so many things you could choose, why you choose clothing, and you literally answer my question. And I love how you touch on the self-talk we sometimes give to ourselves, and how we in society that we have this image of, you know, beauty supposed to look like, right? Size, hair, skin tone, right? Boob size, you know, all the curves or whatever. And a lot of time, and when we look in the mirror, I was like, I'm not that. So if I'm not that, equal to I'm not good, you know? So the self-confidence part, you really, really touch on it, because a lot of time, literally this morning, actually, I made this little video, because that's my practice every morning. It's like I look at myself in the mirror and I talk to myself, like say, you are beautiful. I love your heart. I love your smile. I love your persistence. It's just like compliment myself. It's just like literally I made it. I haven't posted it. I was like, I don't know whether I want to post it, but it's just like, oh, I want to show people, say, hey, just being, you know, a lot of people, they cannot look at themselves in the mirror straight to tell those positive things. So it's like, if you don't believe you're beautiful, who else is gonna believe that? And the other one you touch on, I always share with other people as well. I was like, hey, everybody have a different way of seeing things. Trust me that the clothing you put on, that you think is so perfect, if you ask 100 people, I bet they're gonna give you different answers. Because they have their own futures. But how they see you doesn't devalue who you are. If you love that, you rock that. You go rock that. It's not about how other people see you. It's because how you see yourself. And there is a self-confidence coming, those like worthiness, right? Not good enough. And it's like, by complimenting people, actually, I think that's really help build a community that in environment is like, we're not just, you know, of course we have everything, like we're not perfect. We have so many things to like improve. Of course I can tighten my quality of it. Of course, I can work on my arm, right, muscles here a little bit. But the thing is, like, you always can have those improvements. Kind of like, you know, be gentle, be graceful on yourself, but see the good part. Well, I would say, like, focus on the part you like, the part you love, part of things you wanted, instead of focus on, you know, if people are judging other people, they really criticize, they're really critical on themselves.
Yeah.
Because they just, if they see externally people need to lose 5 pounds, they probably struggle with want to lose something, right?
Yep.
So thank you for touching on that, and it makes it so much more sense of like the personality of not just you, it's just store the baby you created. It's not just for beauty. Like said, a lot of things I would do, like fashion show. We're gonna talk about some events you want to do in the community, and some of them I definitely see we can collaborate, because I have my purpose is like not just for pretty. I want to do kids fashion show.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, we are sometimes in the 30s, 40s, people still struggling with the self-confidence, right? We talk about that, like we talk very negative about ourselves and criticize other people. Is because when we were young, we got criticized. We said, oh, she's too skinny, she doesn't have boobs, or she just look like a green bean, whatever. You say that. But I was like, okay, I want to work with the youth, like young kids, especially in the United States, 16 to 14-ish. That's the age actually people understand what that mean when they say something. They would take personal.
Oh yeah, I mean they're in a whole different world than we do. Like back in the day, a lot of us are lacking. Maybe, you know, people say they're lacking style, or they don't know how to dress because, you know, like I said, I'm 46. So back in our day, we didn't have all these videos and this and that. Now the younger generation, to compare, or to, you know, we didn't know how to put makeup on because no one showed us. Or so a lot of times,
so you enjoy what you do.
Yeah, you know, so a lot of the, you know, like my mom and like, you know, the older, you know, some of the older people in the 60s and higher and stuff like that, they didn't have them to teach them how to wear makeup. A lot of their moms never even wore makeup and stuff like that. And the same thing with style. I mean, if you were a stay-at-home mom, maybe you didn't ever really go out. But now the flip side of that is our younger generation have nothing but that. They have nothing but all these videos of like, this is how you do your makeup. You have to do it like this. This is the style you have to. You have to wear this. Yeah. So they're actually completely flipped from us.
For this pendulum, for this side to this side.
Yeah, it's almost like they have too much information, and they're trying to fit into this too, instead of being like, okay, it's okay to take this style I like and this style I like, but I don't like this one, and just because it's a trend, I don't have to do
like
that.
what you really like what you really like and what you really feel that is your element, instead of the trend. The trend goes, come and goes. Right.
Yeah, so the poor kids, they don't know what to do. They don't ever get a break. They just get told too much of what
That's
to
why,
wear and do.
You know, see, like those fashion show I was talking about, so it doesn't matter the pendulum through this side or this side. So for the fashion show or the event we're going to talk about, we are talking about right now. But for me to see, I was like, okay, I want to do some fashion show is actually for kids to help them to find their element, to be confident. But also I want to do fashion show is actually for tailored towards like our age a little bit, you know, like maybe after 35, 37 to 40 something, under 50, or maybe more. Because this group people is like after we have kids, right? And after a lot of stay-home mom, actually like myself, 4 years after that, I literally have no style, because I didn't have time to care about that.
It's not about you anymore. It's about everybody else.
But when you come back, I had a wrong realization. I'm probably maybe 4 years in, and I started to doing my online business, started to go to social events, and I was like, okay, Gina, I have something to catch up. Like I feel like I need to add something into my element to redefine who I am, you know, after 4 years in full-time mom. So I want to have those fashion shows more tailored towards not like 22 years old, right? Of course, you look fabulous because you're at the peak of your physical physique. But for the people, let's say, you know, like after have 2 kids, we might have stretch marks. We might get an extra couple pounds, you cannot shake it off. And we might change, you know, the legs grow a little bit bigger or whatever it is. I was like, how can we bring this group of the women or men, you know, to bring back to their element is that we really accept who we are and have the confidence within instead of focus on without. But you know, we learn how to, you know, with accessory and clothing, find your own element to have this like light, the confidence, the love from inside. So that's the, you know, fashion show I want to do more tailored towards is like kids or, you know, I mean, middle grade, you look great. You look great. Anyway, you look great, you know? So
you can wrap around anything and you're fine.
So let's talk about events you want to do, right? Like in the community in 2023.
like I said, we always do our fashion shows. That's
Yes.
always there. We always do a Christmas charity events. That's the first December. That's
Yes.
for Toys for Tots. That's where we auction off trees and stuff like that, kind of like the Festival of Trees,
Yes.
but it's here in Uptown and stuff like that. We always, those are some main ones we always have.
Yeah.
This year we like to add like a mommy and me makeover type of deal. So we're gonna try to partner up with some hair salons and some places like that and kind of do that. We're gonna have a Galentine's event here pretty soon,
Yes.
and kind of promote and do some sales there and. Do some stuff real creative with that, and then, like I said, we're having the denim event. But we, you know, that's a great thing is, you know, we really try to, you know, what does the community need, or what would be fun, or let's think outside the box. So we usually have some type of event once a month.
Yes.
So we're kind of in the mix right now, being like, what can we pull off? You know, what can we do and stuff like that. But I mean, we're always up for listening and collaborating, and we do want to touch a little bit on, you know, doing the whole. We got a shirt in that says "Be a buddy, not a bully," and we got it for. You know, trying to help the whole bully community and stuff like that. So there will probably be some fundraisers, some events with that for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I have 2 more questions here. Let's back to the community part a little bit. If you have the, you know, certain things, what are certain things you want to say to the peeps in the community that doesn't matter is in the clothing, right? Those where your industry is at. But you live here. How many years you been here, living here?
Oh, I've been here now for, I probably was been here since I'm 6. I'm 46, so a long time now. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So
long
basically,
time.
you have a lot of say in the community. So you witness, you being here to watch this community evolving, changing, right? And what are certain things that you feel like, you know, the highlight of Bay City itself? Like myself, I'm still trying to understand it. I'm just only here for a year and a half. So to me, in the last year and a half, it's really showed me what is community, like closer to my feeling of community. Of course, we are as fast growing, you know, community. Those community last 2 years, COVID did it. Either way, you see the good or bad, but I think it's a process of we are rebuilding or allows this community have different lights coming to the community. But through your 40 years of experience here, what are some things you feel, you know, make this place very unique?
I feel like, I mean, first of all, we're really growing, which we need to.
Yes.
I feel like we're first, you know, maybe the first time I feel like in a long time, or maybe it's just I'm getting older and wiser. I'm not really sure. But
both.
Yeah. But I feel like we're getting it. We're getting that we're better in numbers and we're better you know, like, hey, you know, if I'm gonna go and need a birthday cake, I'm gonna go support local, or I'm gonna support a friend or whatever else. Even if that means 45 minutes away is, you know, one of my friends that does a bakery or something, you know. Type of deal. Like, I think we're finally getting that. We're just better in numbers, and we're all gonna survive by doing that instead of competing and everything else. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a little competition and everything else.
Yeah, you play the sport. That's why I was like, oh.
Yeah, you know, like I really, really do. But I mean, we're only gonna do better as, you know, a city, and, you know, even as a nation whole, as if we are inspiring and empowering and coming together as a community and everything else. I mean, I get people all the time, they're like, you know, that this boutique just opened over there, and I was like, good, you know, I'm glad. You know, I'm glad, because you're either a boutique shopper or you're not, you know, type of deal. So you're gonna shop all the boutiques, or, you know, or you're gonna shop at Marshall's, you know, whatever. But it doesn't mean that I have to, like, oh, okay, they open, that means I'm going out of business. That's not what it is. I mean, we're getting ready to do a little shop-a-palooza with a bunch of other boutiques, and you know, you're gonna get a card and you're gonna go and support each one of them, and somebody's gonna win a bunch of gift cards. But I mean, if that doesn't tell you community, you know, more than anything and everything else. But I really, you have to, we're only going to get better as a city if they're doing the right things, promoting and helping each other and everything else.
Beautiful. So last question, okay, this is I ask most of my guests when I feel that is, you know, like you shared your story from you born 3 months early, right? So, knowing at a young age of surviving and very independent, that's your feeling of you. But like your daughter, let's talk like the question is like, if your daughter used 3 words to describe you, what does she use?
Oh man, that's a tough one.
Right.
She has a quote to me, because sometimes, you know, you're your worst own critic on some things.
Yes.
And she tells me all the time I don't give myself enough credit for the things that I do. Like, prime example, I just did a video at the end of the year, and it was like all the things that you did in the year.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're in it and you live in it, and you're just doing what you got to do, and you don't realize how much you accomplished in that year and stuff. And I did that, and I was like, wow, dang.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I did some stuff this year, like type
A lot,
of deal.
actually, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And she would probably say definitely inspiring. She tells me all the time I'm a walking Hallmark card.
I love that.
So apparently, and something for Christmas and stuff like that, I've tried to give her some journals with some things I tell her and stuff like that, and I love her to death. But I have a couple quotes for her. I always tell her this one. I told her it's made just for her, that her lack of planning does not make a small emergency for me. Anyone who has kids, use that one. And then I do tell her that I'm just like, you have to change your situation, or you have to change the way you look at it. And I tell her a lot on that too.
Yes.
So I mean, she would probably describe me as that, as in being empowering. And then I tell her all the time that when you're out trying to do your best and everything else, and you're always going to come across people who don't have your best intentions, and that should not surprise me for being 46, but at the same time it does. And then every time I kind of self-reflect on it, like what could I do different and everything else. And she has told me, and been my little uplifting spirit too, it's funny when your kids start lecturing you back, she's just like, you have to stop thinking that everyone has your mindset or your hustle. And she tells me, you're a one of a kind, and so she tells me that all the time, and I'm just I'm like, I say that back to her too and everything else. So that would probably be it. I mean, she took a walking Hallmark card, I guess, and empowering and inspiring, and and that's kind of what I would hope for, really.
Yeah, that's, you see how different was you see yourself as she sees you.
Yeah.
And last one is how your mom would describe you. 3
oh
words.
Man, my mom.
See your daughter, right?
Yeah.
So in the generation, I usually ask people in this way. So we're like, okay, now how you see yourself?
Yeah,
right?
it's, oh man, my mom literally is, I mean, both my mom and my daughter are the two people that I call to, and I'm just like, guess what happened? Or talk me to making some sense of this, or whatever else. And I know my mom would tell me, would say determined, because I'm always like, what do you think? Is this a dumb idea? Or, because I probably drive her nuts with all the things that I think, like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this. And she's probably like, holy cow, type of deal. But she's like, if anyone can do it, you can do it. So I know she would probably say determined. Yes. I learned my great mom skills from her for sure too, and everything else. And I definitely have to say that she would just like, she always tells me, I'm a good mom and everything else, because I teach my kids this and teach the kids that. None of my kids, they know to open doors for people. They know to say their please and thank you. They know how that they teach their governor and their server the same exact way and everything else. So I mean, I know she would call me a good parent and everything else. And we're really close. Like I said, she had me when I was young, and I had my daughter when I was really young too, and stuff like that. So I think she would just be, I think she'd be like, I'm a good listener or friend, because I feel the same way about her.
Yeah, that's so beautiful.
Yeah,
that's so beautiful. It's allow us sometimes to see, how our parents see us, our kids see us, right? Usually sometimes I ask their spouse, but for some reason, because I feel like we are diving into, or we actually pour into a lot of sisterhood. Yeah. Like you actually showed me a lot, not showed me by talking to you, allow me to lean more into the sisterhood. It's not saying that I'm not, it's just like, I have one sister, and we always compete with each other, and I have 2 girls, like, but I was like working with 13 women. I don't know whether I have that not say power, like even feeling the energy of like 13 women. I cannot even imagine when all the 13 women here. But even though I host a lot of events, but you talking about a business together, moving in certain direction, I just want to honor you. It's just like not many people can do that. And when you were saying how your daughter like describe you, I was like, she is a unicorn. And a unicorn.
She'll say that too. If you literally ask her, she said that. I mean, she'll tell me all the time. She's like, I think she's actually used that same, you're a unicorn. Yeah. But I mean, I feel like, I don't know, you're made to do what you're made to do. Yeah. And I feel like God can put you in your experiences that you do, because if you're supposed to be that unicorn, then you're that unicorn, and if you're supposed to be that lion, then you're the lion. I tell my daughter, she's the lion of us group, because there's some things where I'm not someone that, like, if I have to put you in your place, I will. But I mean, I also let you. It probably takes 2-3 situations before I'm like, don't misjudge my niceness for weakness, because I will do what I have to do. Yeah. And my daughter, like, people know better. Like they're just like, oh no, we're not doing that with her. She's gonna like put us right in place, you know.
Well, she's in the next generation. I always tell my daughters, like, you meant to be better than me.
Yeah.
You're already so many areas. You are 8 years old. You already been mommy in certain area. Just let you know. So I'm not meant to be always better than you. To a certain degree, I probably know better. But I want you to pass me. I want you to know more than me. That's all I wanted, is because I don't have to know everything. You ask Alexa know better than me. Sometimes she asks me, I was like, I don't have a great answer, but you can ask Alexa. She's probably gonna give you a better answer. It's like how we set up for our kids is like, yes, I'm good. I know how good am I, but a certain area I'm still growing.
Yeah, not perfect.
Right?
And everything else, it took me, obviously I said I was shy, so it took me a long time to be bold, and my daughter just came out bold. She's like, here I am, I'm bold from day one. So, I mean.
Maybe through her, you're like, hey, actually, maybe she showed you something.
Yeah,
it's okay to, be open and playful, to voice yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And then connecting with social, like, she's probably help you a little bit too. When you have a kids and pet, go to the park. It's much easier to have a conversation.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
That's true too, for sure.
Yeah, okay, so at the end, I want you to, like, maybe share with people how they can find you. Obviously, the address here in Bay City, but on social media, you know, how they connect with you, how you, share where is the best place for them to inform them for all the events, stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. Yep, Believe Inspire Beauty. That's how we're on Instagram as Shop Believe Inspire Beauty.
Oh, okay.
Facebook, Believe Inspire Beauty. My personal page is Amy Marie. I try to always keep, if you love following, like there's sometimes people literally like, not only do I want to follow the store, but I love the person. Like they really want to shop with who they love and stuff. So I always tell people you're more than welcome to follow my actual personal Facebook, which is Amy Marie. And then other than that, your www.believeinspire.beauty. And then the 2 locations is, again, the 906 Washington across from Permanent Hiss. And then an Uptown area where by like Infinity Bridal, Sushi Remix, and all that over there.
Yes. I haven't visited your other store, so I definitely want to go there.
Check it out. Come check it out.
Oh, wow. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And then thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Unity Through Diversity. And I will see you guys next week. Have a beautiful week. Thank you.